The content discussed in this video is presented strictly for the purposes of commentary, criticism, and review. All copyrighted materials referenced are used under the doctrine of fair use, as outlined in Section 107 of the U.S. Copyright Act. This channel does not claim ownership of any third-party works discussed. Views expressed are analytical, not personal endorsements of the material. The goal here is analysis and critique. Nothing more, nothing less.
Welcome to the Book Dive. You know why you're here. You're a lifelong learner, someone who's always hunting for that next big aha moment to just stay sharp.
You know, you also value your time. You don't want to drown in this crushing weight of information overload, just to find like one or two actionable insights.
So we do the heavy reading, we synthesize the noise, and we get you right to the core of the material.
And I have to say, the source material we're working with today really demands that kind of focused synthesis.
It is incredibly eye-opening, maybe a little bit unsettling, honestly. We're looking at a comprehensive guide called Dark Psychology by Jonathan Mind.
Yeah, and the mission of our deep dives today is to unpack the predatory side of human psychology.
We're going to look at what it actually is, how everyday manipulators use it to subtly control reality, and most importantly, how you can build an impenetrable defense against it.
Which is crucial.
Because it's out there, and you have likely encountered it, perhaps without even having the vocabulary to describe what was happening to you.
And understanding it requires this profound shift in how we normally view mental health and behavior. I mean, psychology as a field usually studies the human mind with the ultimate goal of healing, right?
Right, like understanding anxiety or processing trauma.
Or improving cognitive function. But dark psychology looks at those exact same human behaviors through an inverted lens.
It is the study of purposeful manipulation, coercion, and predation. It literally analyzes the specific, calculated tactics people use to intentionally exploit others.
And there's this wild statistic from the author's research that just highlights the sheer intentionality of this.
It points out that 99.9% of people who prey on others, they do it for a specific, calculated reason.
Like financial gain or social power.
Exactly. Career advancement. But there is a terrifying 0.01% of the population that does it for absolutely no discernible reason at all.
Just for the sake of it.
Yes, the ends don't justify the means. Causing the harm is the end.
What's fascinating here is how modern technology has actually accelerated and shielded this behavior.
Oh, the internet.
Yeah, the source discusses the rise of iPredators. These are individuals who weaponize the anonymity of the internet to shed the social contracts that normally govern human interaction.
Because in the real world, you have to look someone in the eye.
Exactly. In the physical world, eye contact, immediate social consequences, basic human empathy that keeps our darker urges in check.
But online, operating behind a pseudonym or just a blank avatar, these individuals feel completely insulated. The screen acts as a morality shield.
It's like they can play out these deviant fantasies without facing the physiological discomfort of seeing their victims' pain.
We see the baseline version of this with internet trolls and cyberbullies. They're fully self-aware that they are causing distress, but that digital distance just totally neutralizes their conscience.
Okay, let's unpack this. If anonymity brings out the worst in people online, what is driving the people who do this in broad daylight? Like in our offices, in our homes.
Yeah, the real-world application.
The author roots this malicious behavior in what psychologists historically called the dark triad. But it seems like that framework has evolved recently, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. For decades, clinical psychology and corporate management studied the dark triad to understand toxic behavior.
Researchers eventually realized they were missing a really vital piece of the puzzle. So they added garden-variety sadism to the framework, bringing us to the 4 dark psychology traits.
And it's a spectrum, right?
Exactly. It helps to view these not as a simple binary. You aren't just normal or dark. Everyone might display a fraction of these behaviors on a really bad day. But we're looking at individuals who score exceptionally high on these scales as their baseline personality.
Let's examine how the author defines these 4 traits, starting with narcissism. I mean, we throw that word around so casually to describe anyone who takes too many selfies or dominates conversation.
But the clinical reality is much stranger. Because the common misconception, as I learned from the Greek myth of Narcissus, is that narcissists are deeply in love with themselves. But the book argues they actually aren't.
They really aren't. They are entirely in love with a fictitious, grandiose avatar of themselves.
Narcissists do not love their true, flawed human selves. They construct an imaginary, perfect version of who they are, and their entire psychological drive is geared toward forcing the rest of the world to validate that illusion.
So you're basically forced to interact with their imaginary friend.
That's a great way to put it. Their self-esteem is entirely perverse. When a narcissist exploits you, they don't necessarily feel like a villain.
Because they think they're special?
Exactly. They believe they are fundamentally superior, so they have this exaggerated sense of entitlement. They can rationalize taking advantage of you as simply claiming what they naturally deserve.
Or even doing you a favor.
Bizarrely, yes.
It's a fascinating delusion to navigate. Now, the second trait, Machiavellianism, shifts from delusion to pure, cold calculation, based on Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince.
These are the people who view every social interaction as a zero-sum game. But the concept that clarifies this best is the distinction between hot empathy and cold empathy.
This is a crucial distinction. Think of hot empathy as the standard human experience.
You perceive that a colleague is overwhelmed. You actually feel a twinge of their stress, and you adjust your behavior. You offer to help, or you back off.
But Machiavellians possess cold empathy. They are often incredibly emotionally intelligent. They can read your micro-expressions perfectly.
They don't resonate with it at all. They feel nothing. They simply log your emotional state as data.
If they see you're overwhelmed, they might volunteer to take a project off your plate, not to help you, but to steal the credit while you're too exhausted to defend yourself.
So they approach relationships with calculated ruthlessness, which bleeds right into the third trait, psychopathy.
Yes. Now, pop culture has skewed this term so heavily. We expect psychopaths to be serial killers or cinematic supervillains, but the guide emphasizes that many are just everyday people.
Your neighbor, your boss.
Right. And it draws a very hard line between sociopathy and psychopathy, based on the origin of the condition.
Origin is the key differentiator here. Sociopathy is largely understood as environmental.
Like from trauma?
Yes. An individual might develop severe antisocial tendencies or a volatile temper due to childhood trauma, chaotic upbringing, systemic abuse.
But psychopathy is different.
Psychopathy is innate. It's linked to brain anatomy, specifically differences in the amygdala, which processes emotion. They possess extremely low levels of fear and a lack of conscience from birth.
And there's a specific checklist for this, right?
The Hare Psychopathy Checklist. Professionals use it to look not just for violence, but for traits like glibness, superficial charm, pathological lying, and a parasitic lifestyle. And then we reach the fourth trait, the newest addition, everyday sadism. These aren't necessarily criminals either. They are people who find the act of inflicting cruelty inextricably pleasurable.
Exactly. While a Machiavellian will hurt you because you're standing in the way of a promotion, a sadist will hurt you because the act of hurting you is the reward itself.
They just want to cause distress.
They will prioritize inflicting emotional pain, sometimes spending their own social capital just to watch you squirm.
Like the internet trolls we mentioned.
Perfect example. A troll does not care about the opinion they are fiercely debating in the comment section. They aren't trying to change your mind. Their sole objective is to harvest your distress.
Here's where it gets really interesting. These four traits don't just exist in a vacuum. They manifest through a literal arsenal of manipulation tactics.
Let's look at how they execute this control in everyday life, starting with arguably the most insidious one, gaslighting.
Gaslighting operates as a slow-moving coup.
I love that phrase. Let's unpack.
It's so accurate. It attacks a victim's foundational grip on reality. It is designed to create a deep, pervasive self-doubt regarding your own memories, your perceptions, and even your sanity.
And it doesn't start big. A manipulator doesn't start by telling a massive, unbelievable lie. Yeah, they start with a tiny memory discrepancy.
Like say you agree to meet at 6 p.m. and they show up at 6:15. You mention they're late, and they push back calmly but firmly, insisting you agreed on 6:15. You know what was said, but it's only 10 or 15 minutes. It's not worth a fight, so you concede. You assume you just misremembered.
And that small concession is the beachhead. Once you accept that minor rewrite of history, the baseline shifts.
Because you feel pressure to concede again.
Exactly. By making small concessions, the victim is slowly desensitized. The lies escalate in magnitude. Over months or years, the manipulator overwrites your reality so consistently that you entirely lose your grip on reality.
You start looking to them to confirm what is real.
Which is the ultimate form of control.
We also see them weaponize basic behavioral conditioning: positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, punishment.
I always try to use analogies here. Positive reinforcement is giving a reward to enforce a behavior, like an abusive partner throwing a terrifying rage fit, but the next morning they buy you flowers. That isn't an apology. It's a calculated reward for your silence. But how does the expert differentiate negative reinforcement and punishment?
People conflate these constantly. Punishment adds something bad to stop a behavior. For instance, yelling or the silent treatment.
The silent treatment is brutal.
It is a profound form of punishment. It's an active withdrawal of love designed to make the victim feel invisible until they break down and apologize.
So what's negative reinforcement then?
Negative reinforcement removes something bad once you comply. Think of relentless nagging. A manipulator will heckle you and criticize you, creating a highly stressful environment. It becomes so unbearable that you finally give in.
And the moment you comply, the nagging stops.
Exactly. The relief you feel negatively reinforces your compliance.
The author also outlines traumatic one-trial learning. This one is intense. It's conditioning through sheer terror.
Like going to a notoriously volatile boss to ask a reasonable question, and they inexplicably explode in rage over this minor confrontation.
They scream, humiliate you.
Right. The trauma is so severe that you never dare to bring up an issue again. One tantrum, and they've manipulated you into total submission.
They also alter reality through the strategic manipulation of facts. Manipulators don't always lie outright, which are lies of commission. They rely heavily on lies of omission or strategic disclosure.
Just leaving things out.
Yes, we see this in the real world constantly, with the classic Friday news dump in politics.
Exactly. They fulfill their legal obligation to release damaging information, but they weaponize the timing. They don't lie, they just manage the perception by controlling the context of the truth.
So why do manipulators go to all this effort? What is the goal here? Erasing willpower.
That's precisely it. The psychological concept is ego depletion, or decision fatigue.
Willpower is like a muscle. If a manipulator constantly surrounds you with ambient stress, forces you to make a labyrinth of petty decisions, your willpower simply empties.
You become highly suggestible and lack the mental bandwidth to mount a defense.
But sometimes they don't even need a logical reason to ruin your life. It's just passive-aggressive revenge. They might target you simply because you remind them of someone else, or because you look happy.
Right, misery loves company.
Exactly, which brings us to victim selection. They actively hunt for specific targets, mainly the empathic and the highly sensitive.
Why sensitive people?
Because highly sensitive people process social subtleties deeply. They respond to the manipulator's engineered moods. A specific tell the source notes is the startle reflex.
Oh, jumping easily when someone sneaks up on them.
Yes, manipulators observe that nervous system hypervigilance and exploit it. They also target highly polite people.
Because polite people are too afraid of being rude to shut down a manipulator early on.
They will just sit there and endure the discomfort to avoid a scene.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we see how societal pressures create vulnerabilities. Think about the cultural pressure, especially on women, to not end up alone.
The fear of loneliness.
Yes, manipulators exploit this script ruthlessly. They threaten abandonment, knowing the victim's fear of isolation will override to guide their personal boundaries.
So what does this all mean? We know the traits, the tactics, the victims. How do you build your defenses?
The book offers a strategy called detaching with love.
Originally used for families of addicts, right?
Yes, it means caring for someone, but entirely refusing to take responsibility for their actions.
Letting them fail.
Exactly. If they try to play the victim to make you their servant, you simply step back.
You also have to change your internal questions.
You can't control the manipulator, only your reaction. Instead of asking yourself, why is he doing this to me? You take a deep breath and ask, how can I keep my dignity here?
It breaks the emotional spiral.
Now, one of the most surprising takeaways from the source for me was the role of diet. Your physical diet directly impacts your susceptibility to mental manipulation.
It really does. It's a brilliant observation of biochemistry. Dropping blood sugar, like the sugar crash from empty calories or lacking omega-3s, vitamin B and vitamin D, can physically mimic depression and lethargy.
Brain fog.
Yes, without physical energy, your willpower depletes faster, making you an easier target.
So you have to literally eat fish, spinach, and eggs to build a biochemical shield against manipulation.
You are literally fueling your prefrontal cortex to stay vigilant.
Eat your spinach so you don't get gaslit. It's wild, but it makes sense. The last defense is becoming completely autonomous,
Non-negotiable.
emphasizing me time, maintaining your own identity, and practicing the word no.
A complete sentence that starves the manipulator of control.
To synthesize this deep dive, the world absolutely contains dark traits, but awareness and self-acceptance are your greatest armor. By knowing the playbook, you take back control.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over that builds on this source material. We discussed how these dark tactics, gaslighting, strategic disclosure, traumatic learning, are used in interpersonal relationships and the workplace.
But the author briefly mentions these exact tactics are used in international diplomacy and by mass media. Oh wow, this raises an important question. If an individual can use these methods to completely rewrite the reality of a single victim, how much of our global societal reality has been covertly constructed by powerful entities using these exact same dark psychology mind games on a macro level?
That completely changes how you view the world around you. Thank you so much for joining us on this book dive. Stay curious, stay sharp, and above all, stay autonomous. Catch you next time.
That's all for today's book dive. If something we said made you think, or made you uncomfortable, that's exactly the point. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every one. Hit subscribe so you never miss a dive, and if you liked this one, the like button does more than you think. We'll see you in the next chapter.